Hi, it's Joy, and today I'll be watching Lucifer Season 5 Episode 16, A Chance at a Happy Ending, and unless we're resurrecting Dan, I'm not seeing much of that. I am watching this like 10 minutes after I finished the previous one. I have finally stopped crying, but I warn you, the tears are literally just under the surface, so the slightest provocation, I imagine they will be out again. I'm very sorry, but I'm also not sorry because this is my reaction and this is how I'm reacting, and I didn't really do a review at the end of the last one. I'm hoping I'll film like a hearing at the end of this one. I do want to say that I don't see how they could do some kind of crazy miracle where Dan comes back, and I'm not happy about that, largely because of Trixie. I think Trixie deserves better. I think we as viewers, having watched Dan go on this journey, deserve better than him dying and not getting to see his daughter grow up, and for her not to have him in his life. I'm gonna cry again. And also, I think the fact that we saw so much of Trixie finding out was just cruel. It was brilliantly acting. My god, she's so young and so talented, but it just, from a writing standpoint, I think was a little over the top in terms of the world sucks enough as it is. But yeah, I am excited, sort of. I'm excited and I'm not excited, I'll be honest, to watch the finale. I am feeling very sad, and I don't know, when I went into the season and even up to the previous episode, I was feeling quite like, yeah, let's go. And now I'm like questioning rewatchability for me, because anytime I see Dan and Trixie together, I will just cry. See, anytime I see Dan having a moment of character growth, I'll cry. I'm going through it. But I want to watch the finale. I pray it gives me some kind of closure about this feeling by the end. Let's go. A reminder that you can find all these unedited on Patreon. Let's go. Oh my god. I mean, I'm kind of feeling numb, but that's horrible. I bet production enjoyed throwing a bus over a cliff. Is that Michael?
Poor fragile humans, dear brother.
I'm over you now, Michael.
But I haven't told you the best part. Chloe will be down there with you.
That's the last thing he'd want.
Only someone's guilt can take them to hell. Exactly.
She feels guilt over Dan.
Think about it. The father.
One thing, so that means that true psychopaths who feel no guilt go to heaven. Don't know how I feel about that.
I am offering you.
He just is the worst candidate for God. Don't. Already too much.
Sitting around like idiots getting all emotional over inanimate junk.
It's gonna force her to face the reality and accept Eve.
It's a t-shirt that Dan had to steal from Chloe after I knocked him out and dumped him naked at her house.
There's enough pain in the world, we don't need this.
But that's the price of joy.
No, it's not the price of me, actually.
Never loving anyone is far worse than loss.
I want to find Eve.
You know, the argument the other night, it just, we were both stressed, and it was emotional, and...
There's no need, detective. You were right. You were able to say the thing I couldn't admit to myself. I wanted to be God for the wrong reasons.
I don't even know...
No.
I don't know what to do with that.
You must refuse to give in. It's all a manipulation. Detective, you
Guilt
mustn't
doesn't
feel
work
guilty.
that way.
We can't let Michael win, and you can't end up like Dan.
You just... Oh no, he just said you can't end up like Dan. Fuck. They just need... Chloe needs to understand that she shouldn't feel guilty because it's nothing she did. It's not her fault. It was a series of random circumstances that she was part of.
What are you talking about, end up like Dan? Dan's in heaven. Where's Dan right now?
Don't make me say it, please.
Where is he?
Bramhill.
Oh my god, her wings were falling off. Has he cast his enemies out of heaven? Or is she dead?
So he must have just used Asriel's blade. made.
He hasn't assembled the
When I
sword.
saw I need your help.
Of course. Maybe I can't control my guilt, but I sure as hell can channel my anger.
Yeah.
Let's take that bastard down.
I just miss him.
What god has the right to take a parent away from their child? Even if they take them to heaven, fuck that.
I know that I'm where I'm supposed to be, where I need to be.
Yeah. Thank God you're here.
There's her sign.
We'll be right back.
That wasn't a sign from God, sweetheart.
I think I know what this is about, Lucifer.
You do?
You hit an emu with your car, didn't you?
Hey, I think I got it.
You're waiting for me. I'm Steve.
Okay.
I'm glad she's
That
healed.
explains why he wanted to meet at
I
love.
don't care if you die.
Such a weirdly romantic thing.
That's the sweetest thing anyone ever said.
You want to be with me, right?
Oh. Oh. Let them stay happy, please.
Sorry, but I can't do that.
Lucy! That is hilarious!
Good at cosplay. Do this, shall we?
Oh god.
Well, humans are the selfish ones.
I don't think she's as convinced.
They don't matter. Heavy is the head that wears the crown and all that.
Yes, Chloe.
Hello?
It's war. More death.
I'm gonna do what happened.
I didn't have the balls to kill a two-bit fence who wound up dying anyway. And now, who knows how many other people are going to die because of my
No, my love.
cowardice.
Wasn't cowardice. It was
To save
strength.
a life. It's not cowardly to fight for a single soul. We owe it to Remiel. We owe it to Dan. We are the ones.
Here. You can have Stabby.
For Trixie's sake, she should stay safe.
Because of me.
For Trixie's sake, you need to stay
You
safe.
are not
I am fighting.
What about Trixie?
There will be no killing. They're our family.
You want to tie another hand behind our backs?
It's the right way to do it.
Wussies?
It's not cowardly to save a single life.
Trixie deserves Chloe's stay. I mean, I want Chloe in the fight for her own sake, but she should stay safe for Trixie's sake. I'm stressed. Are all of you on the side of your sibling killer? All of you?
God. Awful! What on earth are you wearing? Is winter coming or something? Very funny.
Very
Lucy.
funny,
Very,
actually.
Very funny. Everyone knows what Michael's all about. Fear. He's
Mhm.
using it now by threatening you with a flaming sword.
I know why Lucifer wants the throne. He told me. And it's for love of all things. The best reason one could have.
Oh my god. She was not convinced. Are they the only brave one?
Really thought that was going to be a...
Nah. Nothing happened.
God! Get rid of all the opposing votes.
Mom never liked you.
Can't touch this. Can't touch what? Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
He's getting on it too.
My mummy, so hard, yet be saying, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me.
What is happening right now?
We know you're down. That's who I
Yes, Sadiel.
Stop. No, I mean, stop this nonsense. Finally.
That's why we saw the prisoners. Eve's here too.
Your bullets can't hurt me.
Turns out melting down one demon blade makes a lot of bullets.
That
So you see,
was our idea,
more
yes.
evenly This is to the death.
Only one of you has a killing blade. God.
Flaming sword. You don't stand it.
Oh, Lucy, I love you.
Report lost cause.
No, we have Michael right where we want him.
Ooh.
Oh, you're never gonna take this sword from me, brother. Dear brother, that was never part of the plan. Now! No, no.
Yes. Oh God.
Azrael. Oh, with the angel of death at our side, I can't lose.
I'm sorry, Lou.
Bella's friend.
No.
What the fuck?
I got it!
Chloe!
No. I draw the line. I drew the line after Dan.
No, this is all my fault. This is all my fault.
No.
Happened to Dan is. It's not my fault. This is not your fault. It's not your fault.
So we're undoing all the deaths in this season, okay? Right? Because, like, Chloe is not dying. Dan can come back too. What is happening?
Told you she should leave.
You stabbed her, you bastard.
This sounds. This is Max, not our time.
It's not.
What are you babbling about? Die if you try to go to heaven. So be it.
Oh. Angels, do you really want to be on this side?
Just as good as I remember it.
At least
Sandwiches.
never people are together. Lucifer. The ring.
The ring.
Okay, I don't know what the fork any of that means, but you look like.
Oh yeah, he got here. Oh my god, he said what the fork. Good place reference.
Last time no soul has
Oh.
ever made it up here.
That means Dan can too.
You went through the door.
Yep.
Oh, you can help others.
And boom.
Detective! Detective! Thank you. Thank you.
Lucifer. The war. And
Trixie.
I left Trixie. And my friends. And lose him again.
You will see him again.
I'm not going anywhere.
He wants you to live your
Sounds like
life.
some people could use your help, Detective Decker.
Thanks, Dad. Okay.
No, you don't have to do that.
Trixie needs you. Is this going to be how he becomes worthy of God?
I choose you, Chloe. Because I love you.
Is Lucifer God now, right? Oh my god.
Goodbye, detective.
Oh, she still has it. Yes. Yes, Chloe.
Do it. Detective!
God is calling. He seems different a little bit. Is he gonna do it? I didn't think this was gonna happen. I did not think this was gonna happen. Michael, bitch.
Oh my me.
Oh. Alright, so they definitely knew they were getting a season 2 or season 6. My one issue with that finale is that we got no closure on Dan whatsoever. I'm glad they didn't totally move on from it. The battle stuff was absolutely epic. Chloe and Lucifer's relationship is in a really healthy place right now despite everything, but he's now God. What is that going to mean? What is that going to do? I can't see Chloe leaving the LAPD. I'm really intrigued about what the trajectory of the season is going to be. I'm glad we've seen heaven is a really lovely place. We've also seen that you can get from hell to heaven. Lucifer as God can surely get someone down there to have a chat with Dan and help him get to heaven. And then at least I know Trixie will see him again even though she won't have him her whole life. I'm just not okay about that. I need Lucifer to use his newfound god powers to reverse Dan's death and make it so that no one even remembers it happened. Because otherwise, fuck everything. I'm still mad at the writers for killing Dan and for making it as drawing out the agony as much as they did. The world sucks. There is enough grief and pain and misery in all of our lives. We did not need extra on TV, and we did not need to see an 11-year-old girl find out her dad was dead. It would have been enough to just have Chloe closing on the door and being like, oh, Trixie's asleep. Finally. I love the love between Chloe and Lucifer. He's finally said he loves her back, and in doing so, he admitted to himself that he was worthy of everything. He sacrificed himself for her, which Lucifer season 1, you know, would never be like, I wouldn't sacrifice myself. That was everything. He proved he was worthy of being God. Now, I think he'll be a much better God than fucking God was. I enjoyed Oh My Me. The battle was extreme. Glad Eva Mays is my favourite. It's probably the highlight because they're together now, and I'm hoping in season 6 we can just see them forming a really strong bond. Lucifer is in charge. We know that if you end up in hell you can get to heaven. We know vice versa. There are a lot of positives from this episode, but I'm still not over Dan. I'm still not over how they did Dan's death. And the fact that Trixie is going to grow up without a father. She's got plenty of people in her life to love her. That child will be surrounded by love. But she had a loving father who was there for her, and she deserved to keep him, and I'm not okay. Michael getting to live but losing his wings is an interesting touch. It's kind of like they're in a reverse now to where they were. Lucifer is ruling the Silver City whether he goes there or not, and Michael is wingless. Michael does deserve a second chance in his sense. No one deserves to just die or whatever, but Michael caused a lot of pain. He killed their siblings. Lucifer has only ever killed one of their siblings, and that was to protect Chloe and in self-defense. Like, it wasn't just killing them. Michael, I hope, gets some kind of punishment, but I'm intrigued. Is Maze now going to go and become Queen of Hell? I know she's accepted Eve back, but I mean, Eve originally was quite content to go down to hell with Lucifer, so maybe she'd be happy to do it with Maze, I don't know. I'm very intrigued about how it's all going to go. I think showing that a soul could get to heaven shows you that with counsel you could get through it. Like, they need therapists in hell to help you work through this stuff to get to heaven. I'm not okay with Dan's death still. I don't know that I ever will be okay with it. This season was really good, but I do feel for me, and maybe it's just because I'm still in my emotions about it, that will be a black mark on the show forever for me. It really has put my rewatch value into question. I'm not looking forward to editing, because it's gonna hurt, especially the Dan-centered episode. I wish I'd been watching editing, then I'd have less to do instead of just binging. It was brilliant. The musical episode was fantastic, and now I don't know if I'm going to be able to rewatch the fun dance numbers again and enjoy them, because pain, that's all they are. I loved Chloe got to see her dad again and see how much he loved her and how proud he was, and they'll all be together in heaven one day. Lucifer can get to heaven now, because he's God, he's proven he's worthy, he's broken that curse of the falling. The angels are all behind him, they've all seen that he will change. And I think in a way, a big message of this season, if not of the whole show, but if this season in particular, this half season, was that angels aren't better than humans. Angels are just humans with superpowers. You know, they're as petty, as infallible. All of them had this preconceived notion of Lucifer, despite that being a notion they formed a millennia ago, and they were still clinging on to it as though that was worse than Michael when he'd proven himself to be a terrible, terrible person. I don't want to see Michael ever again after what he did. I want to hear that he is miserable someplace. That is what he deserves. I need in season 6, well, ideally in season 6, I need Dan to come back to life. If that is too much to ask, because I don't know how much reality rewriting they could do, I need proof he's in heaven, and I need to see Trixie flourishing and healing and being okay, because that poor little girl. Chloe has such strength. I do think, really, especially having just lost Dan, she should not have been part of that fight, because had she died and Lucifer hadn't been able to save her, Trixie would have been orphaned in a matter of days. And oh, I just couldn't face the thought of that. Like, almost in my mind when Chloe was dead, although I was pretty confident they were going to redo that one, I was thinking, like, all I could think about was Trixie. Like, it was tragic that Chloe was dead. That was awful. Lucifer was sobbing, and that was awful, because I love them and I've been rooting for them, and the idea that they would just end them like that was just horrific. But the idea of Trixie being orphaned, literally, and God, you'll never know how close it came. I am really intrigued about what next season is going to be like, because Lucifer's God. Chloe has handed in her notice, but what's happened with Dan, maybe she's going to be like, oh, can I reconsider that, or whatever. I'm intrigued, because obviously if Chloe isn't working, then we don't have the easy access. God, I was going to say to Ella or Dan. Fuck. If Chloe isn't working in NYPD, LAPD, we don't really need to see Ella anymore. Obviously we could see her in outside of work hours, but what I don't really, it wouldn't be the same. I mean, a big part of this show, as much as I love all of the, obviously the main part of the show for me is the growth of these characters and their relationships with each other, both platonic and romantic, but a huge part of Lucifer, you know, we love the angel stuff, the big arching plots, but the day-to-day crime solving is Lucifer. Like, it is a crime show with a twist. That if there's none of that next season, it's going to be interesting. I'm really intrigued to see what the makeup of next season is going to be. Are they going to split it into 2 parts again? Is it going to be, you know, Lucifer struggling with being God and then just coming to terms with it? I think it would be better if kind of all the angels had a little bit of it, if you know what I mean. Like, there was no one God in control, because like we saw, God himself, the original one, was useless. This Michael would have been a terrible person. I think Lucifer will have the right intentions with all he's learned, but it's a lot for one person to handle, and it means you don't get any other lives. If everyone takes a piece of it, then it could be better. I am intrigued. I mean, I never thought we'd see this happening. The beginning of this half season, this was not where I thought we would be. And if they hadn't killed Dan, if Dan was just comatose and we were praying for his recovery next season, this season would be like 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 for me. Dan's death is a huge black mark, and I know I'm being melodramatic, but I'm not. Like, TV shows are my life. Genuinely, I love them, and I put so much of myself and my passion into my enjoyment of them. So much of how I cope with my own struggles in the real world is through TV shows and TV characters. And of all the characters, I never would have thought Dan would do this to me, but his character, just seeing how far he'd come, and I should have known when he seemed happy in the middle of the mid-season. He was finally at peace, and then Trixie just deserves her dad, and I loved her so much, and I'm not okay. Like, genuinely, I'm not okay. It's almost midnight here, and I'm going to be up for several hours trying to distract myself from the pain I am in right now about that. I would have been crying over Dan regardless, but Dan and Trixie deserve better. I'm very excited, technically, for the next season, because I'm very excited about Lucifer being God and what that's going to mean. Part of me does feel like we're going to get a time jump, because otherwise we will be returning to this grief, because if they were like, it's the next day and Trixie's totally fine, Chloe's moved on, it wouldn't be normal. But then if we get a time jump, we won't see the initial time of, maybe we'll get like a time lapse of Lucifer coming to terms with it. I am excited for the next season, because this is a fantastic plotline, and it shows the character growth of Lucifer coming back. I feel like this review could have been so much better if I wasn't drowning in grief still. But my heart is broken for Trixie, and then you think about how many kids there are in her position in the real world, and I'm a mess. So I am excited for the next season. I think we've seen such character growth from all of the characters, including Dan. We have seen them all reach this sort of, a lot of them are almost grown, and I don't mean that like that everyone can continue to grow, but a lot of them have dealt with their demons, and they've come through the other side, and yet we have another season. So I'm really intrigued to see what they're going to do with it and what their plan is. And if their plan is to bring Dan back somehow, I'm very mad they're going to put me through a hiatus of grief. I watched so many people reacting to this show, and it's just going to hurt now. And this show never was a show that did that to me. Like, Charlotte's death was upsetting, but it wasn't this. We didn't know her kids. But no, just Trixie. And Dan deserved to see Trixie grow into the wonderful young woman she's going to be. But we've seen Chloe reunited with her dad in heaven, and that's what's going to happen with Trixie. I have to believe that one day Dan is going to find his way. Like, that'll be one of the first things Lucifer does, is make sure Dan, if he doesn't bring him back to life, which he better do, is make sure Dan gets to heaven. So this was a really tough season. The beginning of the season was really tough because it brought up a lot of stuff that I could relate to in my personal life with how my dad is and how I feel about him. I could really relate to Lucifer in a lot of ways, despite the fact that they're very different circumstances, obviously. And I think they kind of glossed over that. Like, their dad never really apologised. He finally admitted that he could have been a better dad, but he still never really said sorry. I did find it weird, the fact that he was like, oh, now I can say I love you, seemed to be implying that as God he couldn't, but I think that's just as God he was a twat, and he still was a twat. He was a bit less of a twat when he was leaving. So that is something. Is it going to affect Lucifer's personality and everything when he's God? And the musical episode was phenomenal, though my favourite number was them dancing on the... Like, my favourite songs were the Lucifer Tom Ellis ones at the beginning and the end of the episode, but my favourite number was when they were all dancing on the field, and that's just going to make me cry now, so thanks. But I like Dan's song about going to hell, and then I know he did. And even if they fix it, he's been there for a while now. I'm not okay. So this was a brilliant episode, of a brilliant season, but I don't know like how I would rate this season out of 10, because right now I'm not happy. If I got the opportunity to meet the writers right now, it wouldn't be gushing endorsements, it would be, what the fuck were you thinking? And I hate that, because I just think this isn't a show that needed to kill a character off. That wasn't, oh, that's what Lucifer needs. Oh yeah, the fans really fought to get this show back, we should kill someone off. That's not what Lucifer needs. When I'm watching The Walking Dead, you know, this show perfectly well for 4.5 seasons without killing off a main character. We didn't need this. I don't know if he wanted to leave the show for some reason, but I'm sorry, just Dan could get a job abroad for some weird reason. I don't know what it would be. But you know, he gets an opportunity to be part of a task force in Australia and be like, oh, this would be life-changing, I'm gonna go. And that would explain him not being in it. It would be stupid and a bit ludicrous, but you'd be like, oh, fair enough, Trixie can Zoom call, we've all lived that way this last year. So I'm a mess. This was a really good season, but it also was a terrible season in that regard. And I hate that I'm not leaving this on a super positive note, but that's how I'm feeling. I am very in my feelings at the moment. Like I said, thank you if you've been watching my reactions. You can find them unedited on my Patreon if that interests you. I managed to forget the pain a bit during I got kind of lost in the episode, but the pain is still there now. It's going to be there. I'll probably cry myself to sleep tonight, so thanks for that, Lucifer. I'm so excited to see what other people have made of this show, but just Trixie's 11. She deserves her dad, and he loves her. He's a character that grew and developed over the course of this show and was finally getting to a place where he actually was good. And it's good. The real world is full of senseless tragedy. Our fiction does not need to be. But this was a good season. I will react to season 6 despite the pain I'm in right now. I will watch season 6. It's just rewatching Dan's scenes. I don't know how much of that I'm going to be able to do. I hope I'm able to come to terms with it. Hopefully season 6 will give some kind of closure with it, because right now I feel like they've left us with a very raw wound when it comes to Dan. He's still in hell. Yes, we've got confirmation you can get from hell to heaven, but Dan is still in hell. It wasn't like Dan was sat on the picnic blanket too. Then I would have been okay with it. So yeah. I do love this show, but it's on the naughty step. I'm very angry with it, and I just want to give Trixie a hug. Thank you for watching.